Hey, what's going on? My name is Amir, and welcome to Street Production 303. And for a lot of you guys that have watched my last video, I wasn't feeling 100. I'm still sick. My voice is terrible. So I'm trying to get through this video with you guys, and I do apologize. This is not the typical me, but I felt like shooting this video for you guys. I thought it was really important. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the C8 Corvette. And to be more specific, we're going to be talking about, will the C8 Corvette be considered a supercar? Now, this is a really interesting topic. Some of you guys will disagree with me. Some of you will agree with me. Now, before I continue this video, I really am curious to what you guys think about the C7 and the C8 Corvette. I know it's not out yet, but we know what it will mostly look like. We know the specs. So leave some comments down below. I want to know what you guys think. And the reason that I've made this video is because throughout the last 3 years that I've owned my car, and I was never a big Corvette person before I owned my C7 Corvette. I was into sports cars and cars in general and everything. But when I bought the C7 Corvette, I started asking myself that same question, because it does have a really exotic supercar-like appearance. It does look very aggressive, very sporty, very exotic. The C7 Corvette looks amazing. When coming down a road, you would think it's a Ferrari, you'd think it's a Lamborghini, because it just has that aggressive front end, especially with the LED headlights. And a lot of people that don't know cars, that are not into cars, many of them assume it's some kind of supercar. Throughout the last 3 years that I did own my car, I've gotten a lot of mixed reviews, and not just from random people, from going to car shows, going online on forums. It's funny to me, a lot of people that I did meet, they consider the C7 Corvette a muscle car. They consider Corvettes muscle cars. I mean, I can't understand why you would consider a Corvette a muscle car. To me, it doesn't look nothing like a muscle car. It performs nothing like a muscle car. The only thing that it has that a muscle car might have is a big V8 engine. And some people put a big cam in them and they sound really aggressive. If you didn't look at the car and just listen to the sound of it, yeah, you think it's probably a muscle car. But any car can be cam. I don't know if many of you guys have heard of that sound, where it sounds like it's gonna die. It sounds very old school, classy. If you don't modify the Corvette and leave it stock as it is, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds sporty, it sounds supercar-like. And people consider it a muscle car because of the history of Chevy and Corvettes. We're talking C1, C2, C3. Maybe back then, yeah, I would kind of agree with them. It is a muscle car. Not now. Not on the new generations. Not the C6, C7, especially the C8 that's gonna come out. Now, in the car community, some people just say it's a sports car. It's a high-end sports car that performs really well and this and that, and I disagree with them. I don't agree with them at all. And then there's a lot of people out there that do believe that the C7, the 7th generation Corvette, as well as the C6 are supercars. And the C8, of course, it's going to be a supercar. Now, before I begin in telling you why I think the Corvette is a supercar, I believe people confuse the term supercar. People confuse the term supercar with the term exotic. They consider an exotic car the same thing as a supercar, and that's not the truth. You can have an exotic supercar and you can have a supercar. Now, what is the difference between an exotic versus a supercar? Now, an exotic supercar is a rare, limited production supercar. Now, a regular supercar is not limited production, it's not exotic, it's not rare, but it performs like an exotic supercar, if not better. An exotic is going to cost a lot more most of the time, because being rare and limited, the price point is going to be much higher. Now, a supercar, on the other hand, does not have to be limited. It doesn't have to be rare, it doesn't have to be limited production. It doesn't have to be those things. That's why it's not exotic. There's plenty of supercars out there, like the Lotus, like the R34 Skylines, like the Dodge Vipers. I mean, they're mass-produced. They're mass-produced supercars. They are not mass-produced like a Toyota Camry or a Honda Civic. Not those kind of mass production numbers. So that's the difference between exotic supercar and a regular supercar. Now, as far as muscle cars go, to me a muscle car is more like a Camaro, a Mustang, a Dodge Demon. Those cars have proven themselves great, and they do good on a road course, but they do amazing at the drag strip. There are plenty of videos online where the Dodge Demon gets put on a road course, and it does okay. It doesn't do amazing. Cars with much less horsepower do much better. But now you do the same thing and put him on a drag strip, and guess what? The Dodge Demon walks all over that car. I kind of wanted to go over that with you guys before I keep going, so that you guys do see why I believe that the C6, C7, and the C8 are supercars. When you see a C7 Corvette, even the brand new C8 Corvette, we see renderings, we see the videos online, that looks so much like a supercar to me. That alone can tell me that, yeah, that's most likely a supercar, even if I had no clue about cars. They look aggressive, they have aggressive styling, they have aggressive aero for downforce, the big spoilers. Look at the ZR1 Corvette, the C7. It's insane. I don't know how people would not consider that a supercar. With the C7 Z06 and the C7 ZR1, you can get the option of getting the carbon ceramic brakes. Those are high performance, very expensive brakes. We're talking about a $10,000 to $15,000 upgraded package. Now, when you go ahead and put on carbon ceramic brakes on a car, that means serious business. That's not a joke. And we're talking really fast stopping abilities. And why? Because you want to be able to get into the corner, brake really late, get out of the corner and accelerate as fast as you can. You want to be able to produce the best track time possible. Typically, only supercars and high-end hypercars come with high-performance brakes. Now, even when it comes to the price point, some people are going to be like, well, it's a cheap car, it's not a supercar. How is $120,000 cheap? That is the MSRP for the ZR1 C7 Corvette. How is that cheap? I've seen them go upwards of $150,000. How is that not supercar numbers? Most people will never even own a $50,000 car. Now, a C7 Z06 easily starts at $80-some thousand. Fully loaded, we're looking over 100 grand. If you want to get all the carbon ceramic and everything, we're looking at $110,000, $115,000. Those are supercar numbers to me as far as money goes. So again, we're talking supercar, not sports car. So just imagine the C8 now being mid-engine. Man, there's no way that is not going to be a supercar. Let's look at some performance numbers, okay? We could talk about price and the looks. Some people will just brush that off. They'll be like, whatever, that doesn't mean it's a supercar. Let's look at some numbers, and I'll make sure that I change your mind and really make you believe that yes, the C7 and the C8 are true supercars. The C7 ZR1 produces 750 horsepower to the crank. The Z06 is a 650 horsepower. A lot of Lambos, Ferraris are in that same range. The C8 is rumored to produce 830 horsepower, and that is the Zora model with the electric motor. 830 horsepower. That's crazy. We're talking about a Corvette with 830 horsepower. Now, for a lot of you guys that have not heard of the Nürburgring, the Nürburgring is a track in Germany. It's a very famous track. You can Google it. It's all over the place. And that's where car manufacturers test out their cars. That's where benchmarks get set of the sports cars, supercars, hypercars. And that is almost like a standard in the supercar, hypercar world. Now, let me put these numbers into perspective for you guys, okay? The C7 Z06 set a time at the Nürburgring of 7 minutes and 13 seconds. It's a really large track. We're talking about a really, really big track. To do one lap, it takes that long. The 918 Porsche set the same time of 7 minutes and 13 seconds. The 918 Porsche costs $1 million and upwards of $1 million. And we're comparing the 918 Porsche, which is $1 million, with a Z06 C7 Corvette, which starts at about $80,000, setting the same time at the Nürburgring. That is over 10 times more expensive than the C7 Z06. Go online and check it out for yourself. You will not find a Porsche 918 under $1 million. The C7 Z06 competes with that on a world-renowned track. Now, that was just a C7 Z06, not even the top of the line Corvette. Well, guess what the ZR1 C7 set on the Nürburgring? It set a time of 7 minutes and 4 seconds. That's crazy. That puts the ZR1 in the top 10 list of all time for production road legal vehicles on the Nürburgring. That means that it competes with all the high-end, top of the line supercars, hypercars. Now, with just those performance facts, how can you say the C8 won't be a supercar when the C7 already is a supercar? No question about it, no doubt about it. It's going to be insane. It's going to top the C7 in every way. It's going to be more refined. GM just keeps stepping up their game. They keep going up more and more and more. We're talking, these cars just keep getting better and better and better. All in all, that's why I consider the C7 and the C8 will be considered a supercar. I've stated a lot of facts in this video that prove that it is a supercar. Now, let me bring up something really, really interesting. Just imagine if GM really wanted to limit the production on the Corvette. Let's say they only made 500 C6 Corvettes, C7 Corvettes, and C8 Corvettes. I can tell you right now, guys, these cars will be $200,000 to $300,000. Alright, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Leave some comments down below. I want to see what you guys think. And if it is your first time stopping by the channel, browse around. I have a lot of car content on here. Now, if you did enjoy today's video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.